checking out the high pressure power steering line on the 2002 to 2003 Nissan Maxima. The tools that you're gonna need for up top is a double-ended flare nut wrench set, 14 for right here. You're gonna take a 10mm to loose these two. I am not taking the sensor off because I bought a brand new one, but if you need to, is 1 1/16 socket or wrench, and you can take it off. I didn't take it off because it's old and you don't know if it could strip on its way out. So you're just gonna follow this down, and when we get down there, I'll tell you what tools we need. Just a little pointer, why I'm saying to use one of these instead of your typical everyday 14-inch wrench is because the way it fits inside of there, it's snug versus a regular wrench will just come right there and go like that, and you can risk stripping it, and if that's stripped, you might end up having to replace the whole line, or you don't even know what you're going to end up throwing yourself into. So what you can do now is just disconnect your sensor, either get your 1 1/16 wrench or socket and start taking this off. I recommend keeping it bolted in the whole time until you're done up top here, so it doesn't move all over the place, whereas when it's loose, you're going to be fighting to hold it. Get a rag for over here. Yours may drip. Mine is completely empty. That's how I found out it was leaking. So just get a rag, keep it down here, and then just take off this, which is two 10mm bolts. Then once you do that, I would recommend moving it to the side and putting your line and lead it to the bottom. Why I say do that is so when you take off the bottom one, that may leak because that's in directly into the pump. So you can just make a quick transition by putting it back in. So now we're at the point of having to take off these two rubber bushings. What I recommend doing is taking a skinny flathead or a Phillips screwdriver, you put it in there, and you'll be able to pop it out. I'm gonna do it off camera so I can have both hands to do it. Just a little pointer. It's easier to just pop the metal sleeve out first and then take your screwdriver and pop it out. So here's the new hose. What I'm gonna do, put in back the rubber bushings, install it from up top. So I just follow it down in the OEM spot, and then what I'm gonna do is just push the car up from where I'm working, because I'm working in the shade. And then from the bottom is just a quick transition. I'm gonna show you the part number of the sensor. If you wanna get the sensor yourself, this is it. And this is also the power steering hose part number. Got it from AutoZone, Duralize with lifetime warranty. So on the hose, you're just gonna take your original bushing here, and it's very easy to just slide in. Just slides in right that, then take your metal sleeve, put it back in. For this sensor, like I said before, it's 1 1/16, and you're not gonna overkill it with tightening. You're gonna just snug it. You don't want to kill it and strip it. So once you do that, you should be set. What I'm gonna do is install it from up top, follow it down, then push the car up from where I'm working and do everything separate underneath. I'll show you that later in the video. So let me get this top part installed. So I had a little bit of trouble getting this fitting back in, but what I did, I just made sure I left this loose. Once I got it hand tightened enough, I'm gonna just torque this piece back down with the 210s, and then I'm gonna snug this hand tight with the wrench, not too tight because it is aluminum, so it could strip. So just a little bit tighter than hand tight, snug just like the sensor. Then you're gonna plug this back in, and we're gonna move it down to the bottom. So like I said, now that it's nice and snug, you can plug in back your sensor, and we're gonna torque it down with the 14 double-ended flare nut wrench. Once we do that, we'll be set to go to work at the bottom. So now what we have to do is take off the passenger side wheel. Make sure you put 2 brakes or 2 pieces of wood on your back wheels. Pull up your e-brake. If you're a manual, put it in gear. That's what I always do, because we are lifting it like this. So this is a LSD car, so that wheel will be locked up. So now let me go do that, and I'll get back with you guys. So just take off your lug nuts, and for us, because the car is low, I have to jack it up on the pinch well, put a brake, and then jack it up from the safe jack point, which is right here. That's where I recommend you guys jacking your car up all the time. For me, we have to go on the pinch weld first and then get there. So I'll get back to you guys when I finish getting the wheel off and get the car up. For anyone wondering, it is 21mm lug nuts for all Nissans actually, but I'm working with extremely basic hand tools because the car gave the problem away from home. So I'm just using the regular lug wrench that comes with the car and a basic jack that I keep with me. So what you're gonna do is come right under the car. That's it right here. I'm gonna try to point to it with my finger right there. I'm gonna go figure out what size it is, crack that nut bolt loose, and then everything is just gonna be in reverse. Like I said, you can see my new hose kind of sort of sticking down. That's exactly why I did the follow down of the hose, so we don't have to stress and try to find it. So let me go get that loosed and installed. So what it is a 24mm socket. Once you break it loose, get a drip pan, make sure it doesn't make a mess, and you're just gonna unscrew it the rest of the way out. After I do that, what I'm gonna do is bring my hose down. Your kit will come with brand new copper crush washers. Make sure to use them. I'll show you how it's installed. Once you do that, you just tighten it back up, like I said, snug, not to overkill it, because it's aluminum. After that, just fill up back your reservoir and you should be set. So as that drains, I'm gonna let it drain because it is old power steering fluid in there. God knows how old it actually is. So I bought fresh fluid. We're gonna fill it back up with nice fresh fluid. And so on the crush washer, one goes here and one goes on the opposite side of it. Once you put it back on towards the pump, I'll show you how that goes. But make sure you get the one that's always stuck on the bolt off, because that's a common problem. People are gonna double stack it and it ends up leaking. So make sure you take that off, and I'll show you how to put it all back together, and then we'll just fill it back up. So how it goes is the bolt, crush washer, banjo fitting, crush washer, and you're gonna get it to go back right there, and you gotta have this metal tab slide into this piece right here. So this metal tab slides in there. As soon as I do that, I just gotta torque it down. Like I said before, it's aluminum, so not too tight. Then we just fill up back the reservoir. So all you did was take the 24, line it back up inside of there. You can kind of see it. Line it all back up, tighten it down. Make sure it was bolt, crush washer, fitting, crush washer. Tighten it back, not overkilling it, just tight enough. Then that's it. You can degrease your area, fill up back your power steering reservoir. So what you're gonna do is fill it up. I'm gonna have to fill it up a little bit more because it took in some fluid. But you just make sure you have no leaks underneath, which I do not. I cleaned up under here as well. You can see no drips. We're all clear to go. So we fill it back the reservoir. It's hot now, so it's in between. We're gonna drive it around. The car has 0 leaks. Make sure, like I said, over here, don't overkill it. Don't overkill it, tightening this as well. Same thing down there at the end. That's a successful install. Please like and subscribe for more.